Good morning, my Darren Daily friends. This morning, I want to remind you of a story. It comes out of Jim Collins' book, Good to Great, and it teaches us an important lesson on how to think about and deal with great difficulty, particularly during a crisis, one you don't know if it will end, or when it will end, or what life will be like after it ever ends. The story is about Admiral James Stockdale. Stockdale was the highest-ranking U.S. military officer in the Hanoi Hilton prisoner of war camp. This was during the height of the Vietnam War. Stockdale was tortured over 20 times during his 8-year imprisonment. Stockdale lived out the war without any prisoner rights, with no set release date, and with no certainty of survival. He didn't know if he would ever see his family again. Yet, he remained a steadfast leader, even while in prison with the other inmates. He did everything he could to create conditions that would increase the number of prisoners who would survive unbroken. This while fighting the internal war against his captors. You see, they were attempting to use the prisoners, particularly the American prisoners, for propaganda. At one point, he beat himself with a stool and cut himself with a razor, deliberately disfiguring himself so he could not be used as an example of a well-treated prisoner. He communicated secret intelligence information through letters with his wife. He knew full well if he was discovered, it would mean more torture and perhaps even death. He instituted an elaborate internal communication system with the other prisoners, and this was designed to reduce their sense of isolation, something that their captors tried to create. After his release, Stockdale became the first 3-star officer in history to wear both the aviator wings and the Congressional Medal of Honor. So, how on earth did he possibly deal with all this, particularly when he did not know the end of this story, whether he would even survive to see an end to the story that didn't end in him dying? He said, "I never lost faith in the end of the story. I never doubted not only that I would get out and that I would prevail in the end, I decided I would turn my experience being in prison into the defining event of my life. In retrospect," he said, "I would not trade it." Who didn't make it out, he was asked. "Oh, that's easy," Stockdale said. "The optimists." The optimists? He went on, "Oh, they were the ones who said, 'We're going to be out by Christmas,' and then Christmas would come and Christmas would go. Then they'd say, 'We're going to be out by Easter,' and Easter would come and Easter would go. Then Thanksgiving, and then it would be Christmas again. They died of a broken heart." This is a very important lesson, he emphasized. You must never confuse faith that you will prevail in the end, which you can never afford to lose, with the discipline to confront the most brutal facts of your current reality, whatever they might be. You see, this is the paradox we're in now. The biggest difference between those staying even keeled and those really struggling during this crisis is a willingness to accept the brutal facts, this new normal, and a determination to focus on what we can control at this point. It is denial and defeat that actually keeps us from overcoming obstacles and achieving any form of progress. So what do? 1, never lose faith in the happy ending of the story. We will prevail. We've been through crises like this throughout the evolution of our species before. This too shall pass. Do not lose faith in the end of the story. Number 2, address the brutal facts of the new normal. Control what you can control and make the most of it. That's what we can do. That is what we and those around you expect of you. So write down in your Darren Daily Journal today and tell us how you plan to make this crisis the greatest positive, defining experience of your life. And tell us about it in the comments below.